No amount of money will ever heal my heart. No amount of money will ever bring back my child. I have a permanent scar on my body. No amount of money will remove it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie in case you're new here. I recently opened up my platform to discussing very wide and normal stories that happen to women especially. And today my first guest is a close friend of mine who has graced her with her presence to share a very difficult but a story of healing and restoration. So tune in and grab a seat. I hope that you will get something from this interview. So thank you so much for tuning in. And if you think someone will gain from this video, feel free to share at the end of this video. So before I continue talking, let me introduce my guests, or rather let her introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to actually be doing this after a long time of planning. My name is Sharon Obara Official on every social media platform. I am a digital creator. I am a nature lover and I'm a peacemaker, humanitarian. And yeah, and I'm here to
Share your story.
share my story
Yeah.
today as a form of healing for me and to just help anybody who will benefit from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for honoring the call to come and share your story.
Yeah.
But I'm very honored. I'm very
Yeah.
honored that you've chosen my platform to share your story.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sharon has a very deep and a story of strength, in my opinion. And just to make the viewers understand, would you tell us your story?
I'm gonna start with a brief background of
Yeah.
like how it started. So I come from a single parent. I'm a firstborn from my mom. In 2019, I ended up getting pregnant. And this is out of wedlock pregnancy because I was still in university and he was just fresh from university. So we are both
Students.
you're both students and not really
Married.
employed
or
married.
finding yourself.
Exactly. That's the period where I'm trying to finish my last year in
okay.
law school. And he's just finished his master's and he's not even from here. So it's something that happened. Like it happened, I got pregnant. So
You had dated for how long?
we had dated for 3 years.
Oh, so it was a long-term relationship.
It was a long-term relationship and we felt like it's already there. And despite not having financial help or anything, we just said, let's be courageous and find ways to make it work. The pregnancy was hectic because we're coming from Kenyan households where you're not married. You experience a bit of stigma of having a child out of wedlock, or rather my culture. And I was being taken care of by guardians. So they were not really happy about it and people really distanced themselves. And I didn't feel comfortable telling them I'm even pregnant because some people had like, you're finishing law school, you have so much career in front of you. Why are you having a child right now? There's so many options. You can take the easy way out and remove it and focus on your career. So I didn't really want to hear a lot of opinions because I already had my mind made up that I'm going to keep this child and I'm going to make it work. So I started selling bags in West Africa, Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria. I'd remove bags and Masai sandals from here and sell at a good profit from there. So that's just what kept me going through the whole pregnancy.
But the pregnancy itself, like, was it difficult? It was not so hard on you, like nausea, those things that people go through. Was it? And relatively easy pregnancy?
Okay, it wasn't and it was at the same time. It wasn't in the sense that I was still going to school. So I'm sitting in a 3-hour lecture and I'm pregnant. And you see, the lecture is not going to stop for me to go and pee in between it. And I'd get tired and I'd be using probably public transport. So my body got worn out through the pregnancy, basically, because I'm doing the most. I'm hustling, I'm going to school, I'm doing cards, I'm still, because I was determined. I was like, I'm going to make it work. He said I'm not going to do it, so I'm going
You're
to
going
make
to do it,
work.
Yeah.
So it was hard because the nausea, I had terrible nausea. I think the 4th month is when I could even look at myself properly, because my body is changing. I was this type of person who would always go out, would always take pictures. And that's the time I wanted to even start my YouTube. So I'm like, how am I coming to start my YouTube when I'm pregnant? Will people watch? I'm going through self-doubt. I'm going through so many emotions.
So many emotions that are usually there. So just take us now through the 9 months are over. Now it's time maybe for the baby to come. Take us through the events that lead up to that, probably.
So in 2020, my EDD date was 8th March. So I had planned everything for 8th March, basically. I had looked for public insurance. I had looked for NHIF. I didn't really pay an insurer because I was saving for the baby, not really for the birth.
And that's most of them actually don't.
Exactly. And that's something that usually, like right now, I'd advise somebody like, you'd be so focused on buying clothes and buying those things, but you're not focused on right now. I need vitamins right now for this baby. I need things for right now. And it's something I learned from that experience. So when COVID hit, it reached March 8th. And
that's
the baby,
like 1 week after like COVID has been declared in the country.
Yeah, the curfew is at 6. Everybody.
The curfew was
6.
6 or 7.
It started with 6.
Oh,
yeah. When I was experiencing it, was the first one was 6. I remember, and I get pain. The baby is about to come, and he had stayed in my stomach for a week, so he had stayed for a longer period than the time.
weeks.
Yeah, he actually stayed 41 weeks. So I'm a new mom. I don't know most of these things, and I don't have anybody to guide me that like, this is what you do. This is what you should expect. I'm going with Google and I'm going with seminars and Nairobi Women, but I'm just going with what I'm learning from other people.
Yeah.
People are telling me to work. I'm not working. The baby has not dropped. I need to work. Eat certain food so the baby head can turn. So many.
Or the last checkup.
Checkup, yeah. No, like the way you can just ask someone. So it's like, no, you should eat Miranda. It will turn the head. So many things. And this time I'm a new mom and I'm like, okay, I'm panicking. It's 1 week. I need to go for checkup. So after 1 week, I was like, let me just go for checkup. And I had chosen St. Mary's Langata for my checkup. So when I got to St. Mary's Langata, I had known that Linda Mama would cover it and NHIF would cover it. If it comes to me sorting out the bill, it would be at least insurance is there. I can be admitted, at least, since it covers for the bed and all those things. Then I'll sort everything out. So when I reached there, COVID has started. Linda Mama is out. The nearest hospital I can get Linda Mama is Mbagathi or Tiende. So both places were full.
On the day?
On the day.
Those days?
On the day. Because when I got to St. Mary's, I was 4 centimeters dilated. So immediately they were like, 1, your baby is big. You would not deliver normal. 2, your insurance doesn't cover because I didn't pay 1 month of NHIF. And Linda Mama is out because right now COVID has hit and we are not really covering. So I was like, okay, 3 centimeters. I was like, can I go home, get the money, come tomorrow? And I was like, if you're not feeling pain, I'm just telling you you're opening up. But the moment you feel pain and
Come
if
back.
you see water, come back immediately. So it's like, I consulted the nurses and they checked me and I was like, okay, fine. That was on a Friday. Now the 14th. Remember, my EDD was 8th, so
So they stayed for a
they
bit,
stayed for
March, so
yeah.
mid-March.
So we're in mid-March where curfew is at 6 p.m. So Saturday I wake up and I'm so tired and the pain starts at around 5.
PM.
5 p.m. Now I'm contracting. I call my partner. We're like, fine, everything. We know where we're going. We know the hospital. I know my doctor and everything. So when we leave, like now I enter the car because I could still walk properly. We reach Masai Lodge.
So you're coming
So I'm
from
coming
inside
from
Rongai.
inside Rongai to Langata. And that time it's a mess. It's when the police are beating people to close shops. Everyone is running everywhere.
Those
Like
chaos.
it was total chaos. Matatus are everywhere. So they stop us at Multimedia. And they're like, okay, it's curfew. Where are you guys going? And they see me pregnant. And my partner was a foreigner. So immediately he's like, where's your passport? He removes his passport. The police derails us, like, you can't pass. It's past curfew. We need this certain amount of money right now. And I try pleading with the police, like...
Why were they, what was their reason?
Their
Just
reason
curfew.
was, there's COVID.
Just curfew.
We can't allow you to pass until you pay us this certain amount of money.
Did they ask for a hospital card? Anything
I had
like
everything,
related
they
to,
can see
ask?
I was in active, I'm
Labor.
contracting active labor. So I'm talking, then I'm in pain, then I'm talking. Then like, you're not the first person to be pregnant in this country. So you have to calm down and you listen to us because we are the ultimate law. You cannot pass without us opening the barrier. So you have to sit and wait. So at this point...
sorry to ask, were they men?
Yeah, they were all men. So they were, all men, policemen. And in that moment, I'm like, okay, the way I'm feeling, I cannot have this baby in this car. So we have to literally go back to Rongai. They refused because we could not come up with the money they wanted. So my mom immediately calls me and tells me, okay, we have to go to a hospital nearby because there's curfew. You can't have the baby in the car. So here I am going to a hospital with no background of my pregnancy. They're going with my book. The doctors are not there. Everyone is going home for curfew. So I ended up in the hand of a student without knowing that this is a student.
They had inpatient in that hospital now.
Yeah. So remember, they're locking the doors for the hospital and everything. So it was curfew. Everyone is locking up. So the doctors have not switched for night shift doctors. The one I found was a day shift. He puts me on, he induces me immediately. I'm put on induction
Medication.
drips. So the doctor that comes at night puts me again on another drip. So you see, I'm confused. This one, I tell this person, okay, I was told I can't give birth normally. I need C-section. And it's like, no, everything is okay. So I'm going with what the doctor is telling me, not knowing that he's just a student sitting in for the doctor. He's also not
understood your background.
Exactly. He's going with my book, with my
clinic
book. So here I am. I don't know anything about it. I'm trusting this doctor because this is my first baby. I've done everything. I'm like, okay, I'm in hospital. Nothing can go wrong in hospital compared to being in the car. So nothing can go wrong. So I'm put on induction medicine first. Like first I was put, they inserted. And in this point, I had that epiphany, like, there's something wrong.
Something is just
something is wrong. But I'm trying to communicate with the nurse and the doctor, but they're like, no, you're just a new mom. You know, the way new moms, you like disturbing, you like... So you're a new mom, basically. So hakuna kitu unajua, calm down, and everything is going to be okay. At 11 p.m., my water breaks, and it's a different color. And at this time, the doctor, I don't see any...
reaction.
There's no doctor on site, actual doctor.
When the water broke?
Yeah, when the water broke, there was no doctor. I'm still dealing with this student that is portraying to be the doctor, okay, and the nurse. So they're not telling me that he's not actually a doctor because I'll panic. I'm a new mom, right? So my water breaks a different color. I tell my mom, and my mom is like, "Aye." We talk to the nurse, and the nurse is like, "It's okay. Utanifunza kazi yangu, you know. Hii ni kazi yangu mimi najua. When ni a new mom, just trust that we'll take care of you and stop."
Stop.
It started being like I'm a nuisance because nashinda nimewaita sana na nimeuliza maswali. You get, so it was like, we relax too, daktari atakuja akuone. So sadly the doctor never came. And I kept asking them, do I need the pain I'm feeling? It's too much. And I don't know, there's a stereotype of being around like wanawake wengine wame.
Yeah, you've gone, what they've gone through it, vumilia.
Other women have gone through it, so we vumilia too. It's gonna end in a short time. So from 11, by the time I'm getting to 10 centimeters, it's 5 a.m.
In the morning?
In the morning. Remember,
you've been laboring 12 hours
I remember
straight.
this is how many hours without water, oxygen. The baby is just in my stomach in distress. The heart is stopping.
Did they have, were they monitoring the heart or nothing?
They were monitoring the heart, and my baby actually fought till last minute because his heartbeat was there till last minute, right?
In the
but
hospital.
Now you see in the hospital. The thing was, this doctor kept coming and checking my centimeters every single hour. You get, and it was, I'm in pain, and they're like, we don't need surgery, it's still fine. So as you're going with what the doctor is telling us, and my family, of course, is going with what the doctor is telling us, despite me saying something is wrong, I'm not feeling okay, everyone was just like, it's your first time, just relax, everything is gonna be okay. So I start pushing at 5. At 5, I'm induced again. At 5, because at this point, I'm not feeling any pain now.
Ooh,
I'm
the pain
pushing,
is
the
now
pain
not
is
there.
reducing. And I'm telling the doctor, the pain is reducing. And yeah, I'm at 10 centimeters. You're telling me to push, but I push on a contraction, but I'm not,
you're not feeling
getting a contraction for me to push. Then they're like, no, I'm induced again with a drip again. That's at 6. So I'm pushing from 5 to like 7.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Were they like seeing the head?
They were seeing the
is
head.
it that he was stuck?
So he was seeing the head and he was stuck because remember the previous hospital had told me that he's big and we need to go to surgery. You see, so the hospital is the money making business because they didn't want to tell me there was no surgeon on site and the theater was actually not operational at the time. So that's why they put me to go through this other process so they don't lose a patient and the money. You get what I mean?
That's sad.
So
that's unfortunate that they would not disclose all that. So did you manage to push the baby?
At this point, something in me just tells me, Sharon, wake up. You're dying. And you're both gonna die. Because it was so much blood.
Still on the table.
Still, I'm on the table. And I see these people struggling to look for the heartbeat because like I told you, his heartbeat was very strong till last minute. So I'm seeing them struggle with the machines to look for a heartbeat. And something just tells me, Sharon, you need to stand up. You need to wake up. So remember, I'm 10 centimeters dilated. There's no way I can stand up and squash his head. So in this whole fracas of me standing up and be like, you guys are not, I need theater. Then is when they're telling us, no, by the way, our theater is not operational. Now we have to refer you to another hospital. So at this point, my partner and my mom had to look for a cab now to actually, because we can't wait.
Ambulance?
The ambulance is stuck, CG coming from where? It's just curfew, it's just when they've opened. There's policemen in Langata also. They have to come. So we couldn't wait. So I get a cab and I'm sent directly to my Linda Mama Mbagathi hospital. Me, I'm not in my right mind because I'm in pain. By the time I'm waking up, I'm in Mbagathi. The hospital is full. Remember, this is at 7 a.m. and my water broke at 11 p.m.
Yeah. So they transported you to Mbagathi with a cab.
with a cab.
Was
Yes.
there any medical person with you, or is just now your
There
mom
was
and
no
your
medical
partner?
person with me because the hospital, they realized the baby was dying.
So they didn't
So they
want to be
didn't
apart.
want, in Kenya, if you're accountable for every death
Yes.
in your hospital and
Yeah.
how they died.
Yeah.
So
They didn't want to have that responsibility on their part.
Exactly.
So they just discharged you.
they wrote me a discharge note. I entered the cab in excruciating pain and I'm bleeding also.
I can imagine.
So I'm just in my robe and we go directly to Mbagathi. And Mbagathi, it's full, it's COVID times. There's no wheelchair, nothing. I'm walking all the
You're
way
walking
to the
at
ward.
10 centimeters dilated.
To the wards, only to find it's full. The theater is operational. My mom immediately says, we just go to St. Mary's.
Again, you have
So
to.
I still went back to St. Mary's. So when I got to St. Mary's,
When you go to Mbagathi, is there anyone reacting that you've come in and
in fact, the watchman is telling me, walk quickly, quickly. You know, like you're dripping blood everywhere. You know,
And no medic came to,
medic
like-
came to me. The only nurse that came to me came and told me, let me just help you. You will die here. There's no beds. There's no doctor. The theater is not functioning. You will die here. So that's the thing that got me waking up and told my mom, we need to find a hospital. Because the way I'm feeling, my lower, like I'm changing color now.
Yeah,
I'm
you can
becoming
feel
pale.
you've lost so much blood.
Yeah,
I can
so by
imagine.
the time
So
I reached St. Mary's, I'm unconscious. The last thing I remember was this girl we are going to treat it as an emergency. So immediately I'm treated as an emergency. And remember, my insurance had expired. So they could not admit me without actual
Money.
cash. And remember, we've been going around the previous night. Nobody has gone to withdraw the cash or anything. So the surgeon, thank God for St. Mary's Hospital, he put his foot down and he said, this girl will die here. I'm going to take her to theater. Those files, those payments will find me
later.
Because the child, and that's the first time I heard him say, it's like, this child, it's either we lose one or we lose both. And I'm not going to lose somebody because of payment and insurance and all those things. So
That's
the
a very
surgeon
nice
actually
doctor.
took me, and when we went for the scan, immediately he said, my bladder is full. It's like, there's no way this child would have come out with a full bladder. Your bladder is full and your pelvis is very small. There's no way this child would have come out. And he told me, it's like, your child is dying.
So when you got to St. Mary's, the heartbeat was still there.
The heartbeat was still there, but it was very
he was
faint.
such a fighter.
It was very, very faint. And remember, he had suffered damage on his head with all the moving and all the going round and round and round. So at this point, you're being told your child is dead. And in my head, I'm like, no. We made it. We made it to St. Mary's. No, we go for... So that was just a scan from the surgeon. Like, then he said, okay, fine, we go for ultrasound to check his heart. By the time we get into the ultrasound, there was no heartbeat. And immediately I'm rushed.
So he broke the news to you at that point?
At the ultrasound is when it was confirmed that there's no heartbeat. And I remember the surgeon telling me, Sharon, now is when you need to fight. If you've never fought, now is
For
when,
your own life.
yeah, now is when you need to fight because your baby is gone. But I was in denial because there's no way my baby can be dead.
Yeah.
I've done everything.
Yeah.
I've hustled.
Yeah.
I've dealt with policemen. I've labored the whole night.
Yeah.
So I'm in denial. But I'm going to surgery. I'm in excruciating pain because my uterus was rupturing. Yeah, it actually
So
tore.
now the pain is even more.
So it's even more than labor pains now. It's like excruciating. So immediately I'm put on anesthesia.
Did they put full anesthesia or still half?
Half.
So you can still see what they're doing?
I could see, but I was weak. I was tired.
Pale.
And I remember I kept dozing off, and they kept waking me up, like, you need to be awake. We don't want you to sleep at all.
Yeah.
So from, I went to surgery from 9. I came out of surgery at 4 p.m.
PM.
Yeah.
That was a very intense surgery. But you were awake the whole time?
Not the whole time. I kept dozing off.
Okay, yeah.
Because remember,
You're tired
I'm
also.
tired.
You've not slept.
Yeah,
you've
so I'm
lost
dozing,
blood.
waking up. I didn't even, for me, I would have said it's 30 minutes. I didn't even know it was from 9 till 4 by the time I was getting out. So in surgery, I remember the doctor kept telling me, like, the previous hospital, they knew what they were doing. They knew the child was gonna die, and they knew you were gonna die because your uterus tore and it was rupturing. So at this time, I'm still in denial. I'm in surgery. They remove my baby. I see my baby, and I'm still in denial. I
Like
see a healthy baby.
You see a healthy baby.
I see a 4.7 kgs.
That was a big baby, actually.
Baby.
Yeah, a healthy one.
But I could see his head was damaged because the previous doctor kept measuring
The hand.
the hand inside. So the dilation, all that moving, walking, Nini, his head was a bit damaged, and I could see he had a very big scar. And the doctor told me, like, the first pill they put on you is what has caused that, and the constant measuring, induction, movement.
So he tells you all this when you're in the surgery, on the surgery table?
I'm in the surgery table, but I'm sleeping. I've lost so much blood, and I needed also transfusion. Like, I needed 3 bags.
At that surgery, for that even surgery to happen.
So they're telling me this when I'm out of surgery. It's like 4 p.m. or 4:30. My family is worried. Like, I'm seeing so many people.
Now
and in that moment,
you're in the ward now.
I'm
recovery
in the
ward. Yeah.
I've not even been taken to the recovery ward because I'm still getting transfusion. So I'm just outside the theater.
Okay.
But I can see my family from outside. And in this moment, I'm wondering, I'm under shock. I'm telling myself, my baby is alive. Why are these people crying? I went under shock. So all those things, I think my mind went under shock, and
it's like you're on autopilot mode.
My
but
baby is
you're
alive.
There. Oh, but you're still in denial.
Yeah,
you're still in denial.
My baby is just sleeping.
Were you able to see him before now they took him? So, or do you remember anything at that point?
I didn't get to see him till the next day.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, I didn't cry. Me, I was the one welcoming people. Welcome to my ward. You know, people are wondering.
Because you haven't
Me, I'm asking somebody. In fact, when you cry, I'm like, just talk. Why are you crying? And my baby is alive. Where are the clothes? So my family is in total shock.
Did you have anyone overnight?
Yeah. I had to stay with my sister overnight because when you lose a child, you're not put on the ward where other women are.
Okay.
So I'm put in a separate ward by myself. I'm still in denial, so I needed somebody to stay with me. My sister stayed with me, and the whole night I kept asking, "Where's the baby? My baby is crying. Like, my baby is crying. Why don't you?" I'm even shouting at the nurses, like, "We don't give me my baby," and nobody. It's like nobody knows what to tell me. Like,
is it that they've told you but you haven't processed?
I've not processed. I've refused to. My brain has refused to process.
Yeah.
So the next day I had to see the baby so that my brain can actually process. So I talked to the nurse. The nurse says, "Okay, fine. We need to know how we are arranging the burial. COVID has started. I'm only allowed 1 visitor, 1 person
at a time.
Per day. It's just 1 person. If that person enters, that's the only person who I'll see."
So who were you with to go and see the baby?
So my partner had to enter for me to see the baby. He had dressed him the previous day. He had actually seen the baby and actually dressed him in like clothes we had bought. So me, I'm seeing they bring for me the baby, and I can't find myself to pick him up because I'm in denial.
Was it denial, or now you are processing now?
So now I'm processing, but I can't
Find
find
the
myself
strength,
to
yeah.
pick him up because I can feel he's cold, total cold, and his body was turning because it was a day after. So in this moment is when I weep for the first time, and it's hitting me like, okay,
He's
he's
gone.
actually gone.
Yeah.
And it was hard because this is somebody I see his face, I see his eyes.
It's okay. It's okay.
Now it's when it's hitting me that this pain I'm feeling. Oh,
You haven't even
I didn't even
recovered.
process the pain.
Yeah.
Remember, I was numb. I was moving as if I'm not even from
A C-section.
a
Major
major
surgery.
surgery.
A major surgery.
You see, so now is when I'm feeling the pain and it's hitting me. Oh, my baby is dead. And in that moment, I'm not allowed to take pictures
They don't allow?
just for your mental state. So I begged the nurse, I need to take a picture because if I didn't hold him, I need a picture at least before everything. So after I wept is when at least now I started seeing my scenarios and talking to a counselor. St. Mary's, immediately there's a counselor on standby with you 24/7 for anything during that time. So when I wept is when now I started the journey of
Healing.
accepting that,
actually.
yeah, he had.
That was very tough. But you have shown so much strength even in sharing your story, by the way. And what next? What happens next when you finally accept? How has your healing journey been? It's been quite a journey from when I actually met you. I think I met you a few months after.
Yeah.
But how was the journey from discharge to now healing?
So I ended up getting a very good nurse, a very good male nurse. And remember, I could not do anything by myself. So he would help me a lot. And I was in a separate
Room.
But they did a mistake and put me near the labor ward.
So you can hear everything.
So I can hear everybody give birth.
Labor ward, not even
Labor
the
ward, yeah.
Yeah.
Because St. Mary's, if you know it, it's just the private ninis were occupied because of the COVID patients. So I was just put in a separate open ward, but my bed, it was just me. And another lady who had also lost the child. But we could hear from where I am, every night, I can hear people give birth. I can hear babies cry.
Crying. Oh my.
And I'm shattered every single day.
I know.
And at that moment, I dreaded staying in hospital because
How long did you stay?
I stayed for a week.
A week.
Yeah, I was
That's a
in hospital
very
for a
long
week. So every night I could not sleep because at night is when everyone is giving birth. And I can hear babies, but I'd wake up thinking my baby is crying. So in this, I got a very good nurse who would pray with me every single time, and he'd read for me the Bible.
That's a very good nurse.
You know, and encourage me that it's not over. You've survived. You would have died. You know, your situation was. If we didn't put our foot down, you have a reason and a chance. You have like a second chance.
Were you experiencing any feelings of blame?
Yeah, I blamed myself. I would have done more as a mom. I would have noticed something is wrong. I would have gone with my gut. I blamed the government, you know. I blamed the policemen for everything. I blamed my partner at the time for just not doing the most or paying the policemen. I blamed God for doing this to me. I blamed everybody and anything that I could blame at the time because I was very angry, actually, at the system. I blamed the doctors from the previous hospital.
Did you ever go back?
I've never gone back because I could easily sue
Yeah.
them. But after what I went through, I felt like God gave me another chance to life. And no amount of money will ever heal my heart. No amount of money will ever bring back my child. I have a permanent scar on my body. No amount of money will remove it. No amount of money will remove the pain. And I don't really want to sit in court for years explaining this
Reliving
ordeal,
that night. Yeah.
because it's taken me a year to talk about this.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine myself in court explaining this over and over again.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to heal, because for me it was a second chance to life.
Yeah. So maybe you can now tell us through how you've processed those feelings to now healing.
So the first thing I did, some friends recommended an NGO called Still a Mom. And basically what Still a Mom does is they deal with women who've gone through different stages of child loss. Either the early stages, the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 3 is when you have like a stillbirth. So they connect you to a therapist who goes through the journey. And remember, at the time, I felt like nobody understood how I'm feeling. I'm surrounded by family, and I thank God for my family and my sister who was there for me through everything. I could not communicate to them. I'd tell them I'm okay. It's fine, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But I'd cry myself
You
to
don't
sleep.
know who to connect with. You don't know if anyone will understand.
I don't know if anyone will understand me.
Yeah.
And remember, I'm also angry, because anger was the hardest thing for me to let go of and forgive myself and move forward. So the therapy really helped, because now I could open and talk about this. Why am I angry? Why am I feeling bad? And remember, one thing that I experienced after this was stigma from people close to me and people who didn't know me, in the sense that if somebody is pregnant, they will not necessarily tell me.
You isolation after you've lost, because people don't. Yeah.
And then I had a lot of clothes. So I was like, what am I going to do with all these clothes? I can just give anybody who wants it. So you can give somebody, then they'd ask you, this was your baby's, this is your baby's clothes. And then they'd be like, no, spirits are associated with, And then all of a sudden I remember, I don't have a baby again. So I'm back again to square one, because now I'm going back with my clothes because I lost
A baby
my
and someone
kid. And somebody
want.
will just say it casually, not even thinking it's going to
How
offend
deep
you.
it
You
is.
get?
Yeah.
They're just going to be like, no.
Yeah.
Spirits are connected, and I'm just like, wow. So I stopped being invited to baby showers, to pregnancies, all those things. And in my mind, I was like, is it that I lost mine, or is it that...
People usually think that they're helping you.
Exactly.
But it's really not helping. It's making the situation worse
Because
by
now
isolating you.
I'm isolated from normal things that I'd attend,
Yeah.
And then I'd be reminded, you lost
The baby, that's
you lost your
why.
baby,
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah.
So it's an everyday journey. And the first thing is acceptance. Even in between there, I lost so many friends. It's very weird how you'd be going through so much at the same time, you're healing at the same time, and God is just removing
So many things
people.
are shading off.
So many things
it's
are
like
shading
a renewal
off.
in some way also.
Exactly.
But before at that point you don't think about it like that, but
Yeah.
it can be really tough then.
Yeah.
So how has the therapy outcome?
Therapy outcome has really helped me a lot. And I'd like to tell anybody out there who knows anybody who's lost any kid, like, there's free therapy. Sometimes I know you want to talk to us, you want to console me, but sometimes your consoling words will be a knife to my wound.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's easier for me to talk to a stranger and somebody who's in the profession to understand and remove a lot of things, because that time you want to talk to somebody, but you also don't want sympathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, sympathy, if somebody comes and tells you sorry, you're easily irritated and angry.
I think most people usually don't know what to say or how to act around someone who's gone through such loss. Maybe we can use this platform to educate. What are some of the good things that someone did that actually made a difference in your healing? What is something someone did?
One thing somebody did, my sister, she got a tattoo of my son's name.
Oh.
And for me, that spoke so much than every sorry possible, because it showed that permanently I'll forever be a mom. I went through birth. I went through 9 months of carrying the child. I'll forever be a mom. It does not stop because there's no child. It's already there. It's a part of me. And that small action made me to wake up in the morning and fight, because I was told I was not gonna walk for the next 1 year.
Oh, because of the surgery.
Because of the surgery.
But here you
I
are.
was told I was not gonna do a lot of things. Like, I was not gonna exercise anymore. I had a catheter with me for like 6 months. So even peeing and going to the toilet was a step for me. Things that I would do normally. So those small steps, I started fighting, and I started saying, okay, I can control my mind and my body if I want to. So I have to be strong for me first, because I'm here and I have to move. So I started doing small exercise. They said I couldn't do exercise. I started dancing. At least I moved my body to heal. And doing that has made me heal. A year later, I'm walking. And it's God's grace, because science can tell you this and this, but what is for you is for you. And it's you to decide. If I had two options, I would have gone into depression, because it was so easy. I had suicidal thoughts too. You get like, why am I here and my child is not here? Why did I survive to go through this pain where I can't even pee by myself now? I can't even walk. I need help.
You had stayed with your mom now to recover.
I had stayed with my mom now to recover, yeah. But now my partner would come occasionally. And then he also had to go back to his country. So we are healing separately.
Takes a strain on the relationship.
Exactly, where we're not really on the same page. So already, I'm not even with my partner, okay? I've already lost a child, already lost a relationship. So where do I rebuild? I said, fine. When I get on my feet, I'm going to go back to school. And I'm going to do everything I said I'm going to do. If it's YouTube, I'm going to do it. If it's starting a business, if it's going back in learning about skincare, I'm going to do it. So I said, God, if I go through this and make it, I'm doing everything.
Everything, yeah.
And through doing those things, I'm healing. Because when I'm dancing or when I'm creating YouTube videos, it's hours and hours of editing. In that moment, I forget everything that happened to me. And in that moment, I'm like, okay, I can move and I can heal, and there's hope for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's somebody who's going through worse. There's somebody who's going through this alone. I'm surrounded by family. So I started looking at positive things in my life, because it's easy to go negative. Because if you lost a child, it's very easy to go into depression.
Yeah.
And I thank God for my therapist. It was thrice a week, depending on how free you are. And every week I would look forward to talking to this stranger without a sorry or don't worry, it's not your fault.
Now that therapy was happening like during COVID, how different was it?
So there's so many challenges with therapy during COVID, because there's internet problems, connections, devices, power.
Because it's online.
We're not seeing each other. So you'll miss a couple of, and when you miss these sessions and your brain and your mind is dependent on them, you have to find something to do. So my therapist would encourage me, okay, go about your normal business. During that time, meditate. He'd send me things to listen to and meditate. I'd go online, look for women who've gone through the same thing I've gone through, and try and see
How they've healed.
how they've
It really helps, yeah.
It really helps because
Yeah.
that's the time is when you posted actually that you had lost your first baby, and I was like,
The
I would
miscarriage.
never, your
Oh,
miscarriage.
yeah.
That's when you posted, and I was like, wow, I would never have known.
Yeah.
And I saw you, how you were, and I was like, wow, if Muga did it, I can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
And that's why I'm really happy that you've shared your story, because someone is going to see it as well and say, if Sharon did it, I can do it. Because I can imagine when I didn't know you had not worked for all those months.
Yeah.
And I met you like a few months after before you opened
I was
up.
just on my feet, actually.
Yeah.
I was very fresh on my feet. And I'd wear a smile on my face because
Yeah.
where I'm from, I was told I could not walk, but I can walk.
Yeah.
Let me be happy about that than be sad about what I've lost. And it's your mind. So I'd read a lot of books so that I don't think about it. And I don't want also to ignore it so I don't heal. I want to feel the feeling. So there's days when I wake up sad. Yeah. There's days I wake up, my sky is hurting me, and I have to remember.
Especially when it's cold.
And it's been so cold.
Yeah.
So my life has changed from this small moment. I now operate differently.
Yeah, and you now think differently.
I now think differently. I now
Yeah.
know what to do. But what I can tell anybody who knows anybody who's gone through this, check on them. They can tell you they're okay, but they're not okay.
Checking on them doesn't mean you go with your opinions. Just be there. Just be there.
Check on them with a flower. Check on them with a cake. Check on them with a spa treatment. Because it's very easy to neglect yourself after that because you don't feel pretty.
Feel like yourself.
And I went through so much self-esteem because now my body has changed.
Yeah. And
I have stretch marks places I didn't have stretch marks, and I don't have a baby. So I can get angry, a bit angry that all this was for nothing.
Yeah.
My body has changed, and as a woman, it's your mind.
It's your mind.
So when I learned how to conquer my mind, and it's an everyday process. When negative thoughts come, you do a lot of positive things that you like to shift yourself from that.
I think that's like my biggest takeaway from you today. Like how you've conquered your mind. You said that so many times, that it's about your mind and shifting. So to anyone probably who's watching this story, as a parting shot, what would you tell them?
You're strong. You're very strong. You just don't know it. And things are temporary. You can be happy today, sad tomorrow. There's nothing expected. There's nothing. Okay. And it's okay. It's okay to be down, but it's also okay to stand. It's okay to be down and not stay down. It's a choice. You choose to stay down. Fight. Fight for your life. Fight for your future. Fight for your kids, for their future. Because I'm fighting for hope that one day God will bless me. That hope is enough for me. Because if I look at right now, I don't have it. I don't have the child right now or the life I want right now. But I'm hoping, I'm waking up every day fighting. It's a fight. It's a mental battle every day because Muga, the days you wake up, you don't want to do anything. YouTube, nothing. You don't want to.
Yeah.
But it's your passion and your fight that will
get you there.
Will get you there. So right now I can say anybody who's gone through child loss and is thinking about giving up and is thinking about suicide, there's brighter days. You survived. You survived.
I think that's a very powerful part. That gives me goosebumps. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
And I hope that this story touches someone.
Yeah, me too.
I think we have finished. I'm almost crying. That's when I'm going to go home shivering. I will never, ever not
Yeah.
fight my mind in the morning just because I've had
Yeah.
this conversation with you. If you can do
Yeah.
it, anyone can do it. You are so strong. Thank you for
Thank you,
sharing,
babes.
Sharon.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm so happy.
God.
I'm so honored, but I'm so proud of you.